I think building websites with AI has become very easy. Everyone is doing that. But building a website that can actually take real payments online with authentication, Google Pay, Stripe, the full stack, that is a different story. Let me show you what I built with Antigravity and then we will talk more about it. So imagine that I'm planning to run weekend classes where I would be teaching about AI agents. So for that, I need a website. I need a way for folks to register. And then I also need a way to folks to buy the courses, right? So that is what I exactly did with Antigravity. And you can see a few things to notice right off the bat, right? Like the beautiful animation and the kind of design that it has got. You can see this beautiful tilt and 3D animation here whenever I am clicking on any one of these things. This is how the course card looks like. And this is about the instructor and all of these things really well designed, right? But that is not what I want to focus today. What I want to focus are the authentication as well as the payment system. So the first thing that anybody would do is click on register. Now, what I want to do is open up Firebase, which is the backend system. And here you will see that there are no users over here. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, go ahead and register. So let's say that I'm going to put this email and then just enter any particular password. And once I do this, I'll go back here and you will see live that this is registered, right? So this is the first thing in this website. This is completely integrated with Firebase and I am able to register the users. And once the users are inside, then they're able to go ahead and browse the catalog. So let's say that they click on the courses. So these are the different courses that I have just as an example. So when I click on any one of these courses, I'm clicking on this AI Agents 101. It takes me right inside the course and I can obviously see the course syllabus, etc. But then here I'm able to click on secure your seat. And then here it tells me $199 and I can go ahead and click on proceed with payment. I can again fill my email address and now I have this Google Pay card. So here you will see that this is my Stripe. Right now you see no transactions. I'm obviously on a test account here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on GPay and I'm going to click on pay here, right? So this is $199. Now, when I go back here and reload this, we should be able to see the transaction coming right in. There you go. So you can see the transaction, which is 4242 has come right in. We just did this a few seconds back and you are able to see the exact transaction here. So I was able to connect my website with not only the Firebase, but now I also have this completely set up with Stripe. A quick thing most of the people don't know, right? Google Pay is a wallet. It doesn't really process payments. It takes your customer's card and encrypts it into a token and hands it to your app. You still need Stripe on the back end to actually do something like this, right? So Antigravity obviously built the front end, but the back end, which is the Stripe integration, I had to tell Antigravity about Stripe. So Google Pay integration is just out of the box. And if you tell Antigravity to add Google Pay, it will do it. But for Stripe, we have to provide some more additional details for it to be able to connect to that backend. So in this video, I'm going to exactly explain you all these three things, right? A, how can you build a beautiful website like this? B, how do you connect it to Firebase so that your authorization and authentication is set up? And C, how can you connect it to Stripe payment system? Now, a very important thing, whenever you're planning to receive a payment, you got to be extra careful. So I would highly advise for you to do your own research and ensure that whatever system you're using is highly secure. This is more of an educational video so that you can learn that all of these things are possible with Antigravity. But I would highly recommend that you please do your due diligence. All right, so with that, we will get into the build part. Quick disclaimer, all opinions are my own and do not belong to my employer. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so we're going to look into three different things. We will start with Firebase, then we will set up Stripe, and then we will go to Antigravity and just give it the right prompt. So if you're not familiar with Firebase, this is how the console looks like. Firebase is Google's backend platform. It handles things like authentication, databases, hosting, all the backend stuff you would normally need a server for, right? So for this project, I'm obviously going to use Firebase, and you can create a new project by just simply clicking on it, just give a name. As an example here, go through some of the things here, mention where you are, etc. These are some standard procedure that you will do, right? And this is where it will start preparing your project. So if you're doing this first time, it will provision all the resources. Setting up a project in the backend is something which you would do. We'll continue with this, and this is where it lands you, and you have your blank project right now. Now, few cool things to see over here. So if I zoom in on the left-hand side, you can see a lot of different things that you can build. The thing that we are going to look at is authentication. But you can see here, you can build a database, you can allow hosting, you can have machine learning. They have added in new stuff around phone verification. Let me know if you guys are interested in me making a specific video around phone verification. That could be an interesting one. And then you also have like other options. You can run an A/B testing. There's a very good option of Crashlytics. And then they have a lot of stuff around analytics. Firebase does a great job when it comes to analytics use cases. And then they have built the AI logic, obviously, with everything in Google. There is this AI logic built in the Firebase project itself. So what we're going to do here is click on authentication. And if you have not set it up, like this is what you can click on, just get started. And this is where it allows you to create all different types of potential authentication that you want to use in your application. So in this case, I used a simple email password, but you can actually have sign in. So if you have seen the sign in with Google or other players, you can easily set that up. You can also provide like a phone authentication, if you will. But in this case, I'm going to use an email password, the simplest one, right? So allow users to sign up with their email, enable email link. This will send a link as well. You can also have an SMS multi-factor authentication. All of these things, they've made it super easy so that we are able to just use these as templates. So you don't have to build this. And then you also see there are a lot of other templates as well. So if you're using an email, then it can send you a password reset, email address change, etc. All of these, again, could be just used directly as part of the sign-in method that you have used, right? So once you set it up, that's about it. You already have a sign-in method set for this particular project. Then you will go to project overview here. Now you have got this detail. So this is the API key. This is the auth domain. This is a project ID. You need to copy this and store it because this is exactly what you would be providing to Antigravity, right? So that's it. You have the details that you need. You already have set up the authentication. I will be using my previous project, which is this one, because I already have everything set up over there. But I just showed you that so that if you're following this with me, you are able to create this from scratch, right? So that's step one, which is how you would create Firebase. Now we will move to step two, which is how you would create the Stripe backend. All right. So step number two is Stripe. So for that, you go to stripe.com and you are able to sign up. So I'm just going to sign up with my Google account over here. And once you're here, you're able to finish creating the account and it will take you to a default dashboard as the welcome screen. Okay. So I'm going through the process with you. You can skip for now for the moment and you can fill in the details. And here is where you will see an option to either go to the sandbox or go get your live account. I would recommend that if you are testing this out or just working through it, I would recommend that you do a sandbox environment. So I'm just going to click on go to sandbox. And once you click on that, you will be taken into a sandbox environment. They will very clearly call out that this is a sandbox environment. And you already see that there is a developers option here. So you will have to go to API keys. So this is where you are able to create keys. Now they already give you the standard secret key, which is SK-test, and then the publishable key. These are the two keys that you will need to also store so that you can provide it to Antigravity. So that's all that is needed over here. There are no transactions. Obviously, this is a brand new account that I built with a different login. But once you have taken both the keys, which I showed earlier, that should be enough for Antigravity to stitch it together, right? So two keys from here, project details from Firebase. That's all you need for the backend setup. And then we will head on to Antigravity. All right. Now I am finally in my favorite tool, which is Antigravity. And as always, the best practice is to create a new workspace or a folder whenever you're running a new project, right? So in this case, I've created live build GPay here. And then I'm going to now give this particular prompt. So the prompt that I'm giving is very simple to begin with. Build me an agentic AI academy. And the tech stack is going to be Firebase for authentication, Google Pay, and Stripe. And I've also given Framer Motion just to make sure that there is some animation that can happen. And then I've given some basic design elements here and some of the mentor section. What I've also done is I've said that, hey, I have my Firebase config and Stripe test keys ready. Please tell me when to enter them once the project is set up. So I'm trying to like take it very slow and there's always a lot of iteration that will need to happen when you're building and working on stuff like this. It's always good to start at a good base and then you can always work towards getting like a finer element. The stuff that you saw in the beginning was after me doing multiple iteration and having the conversation with Antigravity and then coming to a particular conclusion. It seems that it has already created the implementation plan. So let's look at it. So here is the implementation plan. It covers everything, the design request, especially luxury, fintech visuals, etc. So you're seeing it is asking a lot of these questions. So here it is saying that it will create the environment at local file. Right now, obviously, we don't see any files because we haven't asked it to proceed, but it is giving us exactly what we need to fill once it proceeds. So I'm going to just go ahead and say proceed. And now you will see that it is going to create some of those environment variables, and we will be able to provide those details over here, right? So we're just going to let it run. And once it is done, we will see some of the files over here. But again, this is something where you will have to do the iterations, a few times for you to get to that perfect result that you're interested in. I'm going to show you what it will generate off the first screen, and then we'll show you the final result as well. So it has completed its run, and you can see that this is what it is saying, that I built the Agentic AI Academy platform. Next step is go to this particular directory and then create an environment local file in the root Agentic Academy folder. So you can see that this is what it has done. And it is like specifically guiding us to do all of these things. Once we have provided the environment variables as we had requested, then it is asking us to run the server. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to provide all of these details, and then we will run the server and show you what it has created. All right, so I provided all the details. As you can see, I'm using the agent mode here, and it is literally telling me exactly what are the steps that need to be taken. And once I've completed all these steps, the website will be ready at this particular localhost, right? So that's the idea. And I'm going to just wait for it to finish. And once the website is ready, then I'm going to show you what Antigravity was able to create. All right, so we're going to run npm run, and then I'm going to click on this. And this is going to be the first version of the website. And here you go. So this is the absolute first version of the website. You can see some of the animations already here. And here you can actually like add some of the stuff, and you can also add like a video. So this is the website from the single prompt, and you already saw the prompt here. Now what you can do is obviously go work with Antigravity to make it much more beautiful if you want to add your own image and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how my discussion was in the previous chat. So here you can see that I've had like a lot of different discussions in the previous chat, right? Like the top banner is so small compared to everything else. So you are going to do this iterative discussions. And then once you're really satisfied, for example, here I said that, hey, I want this to have the lesser gap, etc. So this is a back and forth discussion that you will need to have with Antigravity to set this up. So honestly, this is not at all bad, and you're able to click on sign in, and this is where you're also able to enroll. So if I just add, let's say that anything else, let's go to Firebase, and we are in authentication. Again, there are no users. Just going back to the website here, right? So if I click on create account, we should be able to see the user right here, right? So it's already connected to this, and the same thing is with Stripe. So what we're going to do is we're going to see the end result after everything is connected. And this was the end result that we saw in the beginning. Again, as I mentioned, this was after a lot of conversations, but the build process was pretty similar. So you can click on register, and then it will register you, and then you can log in. And then here you are seeing all the different effects that I was able to create just by having a conversation with Antigravity. But that is what I wanted to show you guys today. You're able to create this highly animated website using very simple prompts now. And on top of it, you're also able to directly connect it to Firebase. We already saw that. And then also connect it to Stripe. This allows your website to now start collecting payments, which is generally one of the hardest things to achieve. So hopefully this made a lot of sense. So let's just do a quick recap of what just happened. In one session with Antigravity, we built a complete web application, not a landing page, not a mockup, a real platform with Firebase authentication, a full course catalog, Google Pay on the front end, and Stripe processing real payments on the back end. Now, is this production ready? No. You still need to test your payment flows, handle edge cases, set up error handling. That's your responsibility when you're dealing with real money. But the fact that an agentic IDE such as Antigravity can build this entire stack in a single session, that changes what's possible for solo developers and small teams. 6 months ago, this would have taken a lot more time than just doing this under an hour. So if you're interested, I will drop the prompt I used in the description below so that you can try this yourself. I hope this was valuable. Please let me know in the comment section if you guys have any questions. And if you're new here, please do hit that subscribe button so that you can get these kind of videos in the future. And do hit that like button if you like the video. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. And I will see you in the next one.